my first company, Rep Interactive, which is a video marketing and production services company, started as a homework assignment at the University of Southern California. Fight on. All the non-USC people probably think we're weird, but that's part of what being in the Trojan Mafia is. So yeah, I'd never done anything creative before in my life. I had no video skills. My undergraduate degree was in history and sociology, and I was getting a master's in strategic public relations. And I was playing football for the University of Southern California, and I had to miss a class one week. And one of my teachers had a homework assignment for me, and it was, think of a business that couldn't exist 5 years ago that would boom in the next 5 years. So, like any good student, I called my mom and said, "Hey Mom, can you help me with my homework assignment?" And my mom gave me the idea for basically what has now become Rep Interactive, which is a company that makes professional YouTube videos for corporations. And back then, I think it was like 2008, nobody even really knew what YouTube was, other than kind of like the millennial demographic. And I brought the assignment back to my teacher after missing class kind of at the end of the week, and she said, "This is a really good idea. I think you should pursue this, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a video for one of my clients called Whole Foods." And at the time, I actually didn't know who Whole Foods was. They didn't have any stores really where I was from, and they were just opening up a brand new store in Venice Beach, California. So I did, a ton of research and learned about Whole Foods and eating healthy and all the great things that they stand for. And I went out and I made this video for Whole Foods. And like any good entrepreneur, I called a buddy who I knew had some video editing skills. And I said, "Hey, do you want to help me make this video for Whole Foods?" And he said, "Absolutely, I'm on board." And that video project was hands down the most fun I'd ever had in school. It was the most fun I'd ever had doing something that wasn't playing sports. And I thought, wow, if I can't play professional sports one day, I would love to just get paid to make videos. You get to be creative, you work with other people, you're telling stories. It's almost like it's like a very childlike job, There's not a lot of real responsibility in the sense of, if you mess up, nobody's gonna die, right? Until you get to higher level production when you're doing things like Transformers, or, if you're working in some of the scenarios that we work in now where we're on oil rigs, or, we've even had creative directors get kidnapped by drug dealers in Jamaica. So I can tell you guys about that story later. But for the most part, it's a very fun, creative, and low risk kind of job. Minus the kidnapping, or the scorpion stings, or there's all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I knew from that first video project that was what I wanted to do. And I spent the rest of my master's degree at USC working on the thesis of kind of online video marketing and communication, which really was my company, Rep Interactive. And by the time it had come time to graduate and walk in the ceremony, we already had a company up and running, and I'm flying around in a helicopter through the Rocky Mountains filming instead of walking in graduation. So I was very fortunate to kind of stumble upon this creative, entrepreneurial business that almost like coincidentally lined up for me and worked out for me. It was not something that was deliberately calculated. It was not something that I knew I had a passion for and went to school to develop. And it most certainly wasn't something where I had to, quit a full-time job and take this crazy risk to try to build something that, was my one love or my one passion. It was something that I kind of accidentally discovered and fell in love with. And throughout the process of working to build the business and master my craft and become a good CEO and businessman, I ended up starting another company called Video Fort. And Video Fort is Hollywood's largest stock footage manufacturer. We have the largest library of aerial footage and nature footage in the world that's privately owned, not by one of the larger corporations like Getty or publicly traded companies like Shutterstock.com. And Video Fort is a subsidiary, so it's owned by Rep Interactive, and it was started as a spin-off so that we could create and sell digital products online to creators around the world. We were fortunate enough to be creating content in these remote parts of the world. You've seen some of our stuff in shows like Discovery Planet Earth, so we've got polar bears and cheetahs and all kinds of great footage, or the NBA on TNT, all the aerial shots of downtown LA when they cut away from a Laker game or something like that. And fortunately, my business partner, who's one of the most well-known helicopter pilots in the world for Hollywood cinematography, he was a friend that I had met randomly at a Starbucks in college. Yeah. So Alan, he's a very successful entrepreneur. He's in his 50s, and I was working on a project for Rep Interactive while I was still in college. Randomly met this guy, right, at a Starbucks across the street from a hotel that we were filming for Rep on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m. And, he started talking to me, asking me why I was there, what are you doing at Starbucks at 6 a.m. when you're 22 years old? We connected and we got along really well and just kind of kept in touch. And whenever I needed hot aerial footage for some of my videos, he would always hook me up with great shots. And that was actually that was a big catalyst in how we were able to build Rep Interactive into such a large company. And, when continuing to develop the business, I liked the idea of being able to sell products online, especially digital products that we didn't have to necessarily warehouse or hold inventory for. But I also liked the idea of being able to supply filmmakers and creators around the world with quality content that they couldn't have access to, and that they couldn't go out and film themselves unless they had hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Because I knew from experience what you could do with access to that kind of content and the ability to use something like that. And the media landscape has changed so much with the creation of YouTube, obviously, and a lot of other video platforms out there. But it's really starting to level the playing field for filmmakers and creators and brands and all kinds of businesses or organizations that want to communicate. And by being able to have free distribution and being able to share your message or your idea, we're starting to live in a world where the ideas are now more valuable than the tools you have to make the content. And the ideas are more valuable than, a budget you have. You can have a great idea and very little budget and go out and put something together and execute it at a low cost, and it can go viral and spread around the world, and you now can create awareness or generate attention for your brand or your cause or your message. And for the first time in history, I mean, this is happening. This has not been a trend or a possibility for this amount of people before. So the tipping point for Rep Interactive was when we released a video for the real estate industry. We had this concept to go out and make what now is called a web series. And our initial pilot for that web series that we released in 2009 was called World's Most Expensive Homes. And we went out and we got helicopters, and we got like the cheapest helicopters you can rent, which are called Robinson R-22s. And we took the doors off the helicopters, and we literally flew around Beverly Hills, around the most expensive homes in Beverly Hills, and turned it into a web series and put it online. Nobody had ever done that before. And when we put that online, the video went viral, got over 1 million views and this, that, and the other. But it generated a lot of attention for Rep Interactive. That ended up getting us some of our larger corporate clients, but really our first major corporate client, which is Coldwell Banker, huge global real estate company. And we're now their media team. We create all their online content and some of their commercials and things like that. There was a moment after we filmed the World's Most Expensive Homes footage when we were notified that the homeowners of these properties were going to sue us if we put the video content up. And we put everything we had into making this pilot. This was actually the capstone project to my master's thesis. I had to put this out there. We said, here's a formula, this is how you make a viral video, and here's our example of a viral video that follows this formula. And in theory, if we put this online, it'll blow up huge and go viral, which viral at the time was maybe 10,000 views or something. And when I was threatened with, being sued as a broke college student, I was really scared, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, obviously I don't want to be sued, and I didn't want to do something that was wrong, but I also didn't think what I was doing was wrong. And there was that moment of, do I not post my content that I made? Do I not post this creation? Or do I say, you know what? Screw it. We're putting it out there. And if somebody wants to sue me, sue me. And I decided that, I was going to go for it. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I honestly believed in my heart that this was something I had to put up, and I was willing to face the consequences, positive or negative. And when that video went viral and got all these views, we ended up getting all these big corporations calling us saying, are you Rep Interactive? Did you make this video? We want to pay you guys to go make videos for our company. This is great. That's when we had this transition moment where it was like, wow, now we're in business. Now we're a real company. And it wasn't just, some kid with his backpack in his dorm apartment in South Central, trying to run around with a camcorder and a MacBook making videos. So I would say that was the biggest transition point for Rep Interactive. We had a different transition point for Video Fort. Video Fort was something that I developed at USC through the Accelerator Incubator Mentorship Program at the University of Southern California. It's something that they hold for current students and alumni, and it's a summer program. And Video Fort, it was something that was very calculated, it was very well planned, and it was not like Rep, where it was we had this idea, it's cool, let's just do it, rock and roll, see what happens. So Video For It had a different kind of formulation. And when we first launched Video For It, we didn't get the response that we thought we were going to get. You know, we thought we had it all mapped out and things were going to work out perfect and, you know, boom, we're going to be like the next Facebook or something. And we learned a lot, but with Video For It, there was actually a turning point. And the turning point was we had been putting out content on YouTube pretty consistently. You know, putting out a new video on YouTube every week. And for maybe the first 3 months, there was nothing. Like, no traffic, barely any views. Each video would get, you know, 50 views. And we tried pay-per-click Google ads, and that kind of worked, but not really. And we had done all these different things that, you know, you look up on blogs or you read books and they tell you to do. And then a few months in, something happened on our YouTube channel. And there was just, all of a sudden, there was a huge spike. We started getting tons of traffic from people coming through Reddit. We started getting tons of traffic from Facebook. And our YouTube channel went from maybe 600 views a month to over 100,000 views a month. And we started getting all the traffic to our website, and we made some pretty good strategic decisions by partnering with distributors like Shutterstock.com and Pond5 and Getty and some other distributors. And then our sales started going through the roof, our traffic started going through the roof. And I think that the two commonalities in both the success of Video For It and Rep Interactive is that YouTube was the catalyst for Rep with our kind of viral real estate video. And with Video For It, YouTube was also the catalyst, but it was a catalyst in the sense that we spent a lot of time trying to build up that channel. And then eventually we just kind of hit a critical mass and hit the tipping point. And then it all worked out.